acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting today. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. My name is Maya, and also a member of UCSI, and I'll be your host for tonight's event. This event has been organized by United Cultural Support in celebration of Eid al-Fitr and end of Ramadan. A bit about Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr. Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr are two important events in the Islamic faith that are celebrated by Muslims worldwide. Ramadan is a month-long observance in which Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset, refraining from food and drink during daylight hours. This is seen as a time of spiritual reflection and increased devotion to God, with Muslims striving to improve themselves and deepen their relationship with God through prayer, charity, and good deeds. At the end of Ramadan, Muslims celebrate Eid al-Fitr, a joyous festival that marks the end of the fasting period and is celebrated with prayer, feasting, and festivities. The holiday is a time of gratitude and celebration, with Muslims coming together to share in the blessings of the season and express their gratitude to God for His mercy and generosity. I'd like to add a few lines here. گذشت ماه خدا و رسید عید سیام، به هر دو باد درود و به هر دو باد سلام. هزار شکر که عید سیام کرد طلوع، هزار حیف که ماه سیام گشت تمام. عید فطر و جشن طاعات بر راه یافتگان ضیافت الهی مبارک. امیدوارستم که امشب وقت خوبی رو همراه هم دیگه داشته باشیم. عید همگی مبارک و طاعات عباداتتان قبول. For now, یکی از دختر بسیار talented که عاشق میوزیک و درس خواندن هست، میخوایم در استیج اینوایتشون کنم که بیاین و برای ما یک میوزیکال پیس پرفورم کنن. I would like to invite a very talented girl to perform a violin piece for us tonight. Please welcome on stage Soraya Mazuri. Music does more than soothe the soul. It brings balance to the mind, body, and the spirit. Thank you, Soraya, for the beautiful musical presentation. I now would like to invite Mr. Zabir Mazuri, the president of UCSI, to join us here on the stage and share some remarks. Please put your hands together for Mr. Mazuri.
Thanks, Maya. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you to Eid of Fitr celebration tonight. It's wonderful to have everyone tonight here to celebrate the end of Ramadan. We originally, every year, we celebrate Nowruz as United Cultural Support, but this year, because Nowruz was during Ramadan, so we combined the two celebrations. So we have both Nowruz and Eid. So welcome everyone. از همه دوستایی که در این برنامه اشتراک کردن تشکری میکنم. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Jason Wood MP, member for La Trobe to this event, the Honorable Pauline Richards, a member for Crampton, state member, and also my good friend Dr. Tian Q, former MP, and also all the distinguished guests who are present here tonight to celebrate the Eid with us. As Maya said, Eid is a special celebration for all Muslims, but the Eid and Nowruz now in Australia is part of the multicultural celebration, so it does not only belong to Afghan or Muslims. We would like to share it with everyone, with the wider community. And I know United Cultural Support has members from non-Afghan community. I would like to acknowledge their hard work. As Maya have said, United Cultural Support, or UCSI, is a small organization, and I'm glad to be part of it. I know most of the members of our community, especially the executive committee, the founder, they are all women, except myself. I'm the only non-woman in the committee. And I would like to acknowledge Sadia Ali, who founded UCSI and left it in good shape for us to continue the work. United Cultural Support has been trying to help the community since it was established in 2018. We have run a number of programs to help primarily the Afghan community, the Hazara community from Afghanistan and also from Pakistan, and other members of the community who are not from Afghanistan. During the COVID, we were using this hall to distribute food relief support, to also assist members with information during COVID. We would like to also thank the previous federal government who funded us to work with the evacuees from Afghanistan and the Afghan community. We have been running a driving education program for the last 2 years to help members of the Afghan community and also the Hazara community, especially women, to get their driving licenses. And we are glad to say we run just since 2022, we ran 6 programs, and we have graduated over 150 participants who got their learner's permit, and over 35 of them managed to get their actual probationary or full driving licenses. And over 90% of them are women who have never had the chance or opportunity to drive before, either in Afghanistan or Pakistan. So we are honored to have that achievement. We also run a number of sports activity for young people. We are very big in volleyball. We have a big volleyball group. Some of the members are here, some of the players. We also run volleyball for men, and also we support, we have a few soccer activities, indoor soccer for young people, and especially for those who are newly arrived. We run citizenship classes for those who would like to get their citizenship, but they have language difficulty and they can't get citizenship because of language issues, so we go through the whole process of assisting them. Obviously, we can't do all of this work because we have, usually we have very small funding, but we work in partnership with mainstream organizations. We work in very close partnership with Foundation House, with SMRC, Southern Migrant Resource Center, and with Southeast Community Links, with Uniting Comac, and with the City of Casey, with the City of Greater Dandenong, and many other service providers. So we try to run a lot of these activities in partnership. I know I don't want to speak too much about what we do tonight here, but we have gathered here to celebrate Eid and also have a night together with the family. Most of the community participants that you see here are members of UCSI or their families. And I'm glad that they have all made it here. I do want to say that my language barriers are big among, especially those who newly arrived in Australia, and we all have that experience. Myself, when I came as a refugee almost 22 years ago, I couldn't speak much English, so I'm glad my wife Dallas is here, who assisted me a lot in that process. So she's been a good teacher, and now she has learned also very fluently, so we've helped each other. I do want to say that some of the women and some of the participants who are here have attended our activity, and I'm glad that we assisted them to get their driver licenses so they could drive here. And I know Ustad Wahid is here, and he's the head of, he was the coach of Afghan women volleyball soccer team, national soccer team, and we are glad to have him here, and all the other distinguished guests who are here tonight. It's an honor to have them. I do want to say a couple of stories. I know this is the tradition in Australia, but in our tradition we don't say we don't joke about our families or friends, but I can say when my mom came here, she never studied, she never went to school. She's illiterate in our language as well as English, but I'm glad that she managed to get her driving license. But we have a joke in the family, when my siblings especially, they joke that when she goes out driving, we've created an alert that no one else should be on the road. But I know she's not that bad driver. She's passed her license and she can drive. This shows that the resilience of the community, with very limited English, with very little education, when the opportunities are given to them, they can thrive, and that's one example. I don't want to take more of your time. Once again, I would like to welcome you all, and I hope you have a good night with us here together, and thank you for attending. Thanks, Maya.
Thank you, Mr. Mazuri, for the continuous great work that you do and a great speech. Now to our special guests for tonight. First, we have Honourable Pauline Richards MP, the State Member of Cranbourne in the Victorian Parliament, representing the Australian Labor Party and government within the Victorian Parliament. Ms. Richards has been an active and engaged MP since her election in 2018. She has been a great friend of our community and has been assisting our community members over the past many years. We are honoured to have Ms. Richards join us tonight in our Eid celebration. I'd like to invite Ms. Richards to the stage to share some of her remarks with us. Please put your hands together for Ms. Richards.
Thank you, Maya. So my name is Pauline Richards, and I'm good at voice projection. And you are too, so well done. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that for thousands of years this was the land of the Bunurong people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and recognise the Bunurong as our first community leaders. the first providers of hospitality, the people who first gave care to each other and provided the resilience, the skills to learn to navigate, the skills to learn to participate in sport. I'd like to say how pleased I am to be here in such auspicious company. And I'm grateful always, Zabi, for the invitation and any time I get to be in a room with Sadia. The founders, the president and all of the committee members of the United Cultural Society have become great friends, and the contrast between the cold outside and the warmth in this room couldn't be greater. I'd also like to acknowledge Jason Wood as the federal member for Latrobe and somebody who's worked very closely and tirelessly for the community in the southeast. Jason and I were at the city of Casey yesterday for the citizenship ceremony. There were 1,000 new citizens we were able to welcome to the city of Casey yesterday. 1,000 new citizens. How fortunate we are that people have chosen to make Victoria home and chosen to make the southeast and the city of Casey. So I'd like to recognise as well that we have representation from the city of Casey. I also have my good friend Dr. Tien Q here, and any time spent with Dr. Q is a delight, and we're always fortunate to have the insight and wisdom of Dr. Q as a good friend of the community and somebody who was a member of the Legislative Council. The literature and music, the gifts of hospitality and the gifts of resilience are all on display here. How wonderful to have the musical accompaniment to begin the evening, and it is something that I am grateful for, but also something I'm learning to appreciate very much from the community. So to be able to say Eid Mubarak and Salam Alaikum is always an honour, but to always remind ourselves and the community of what it means to have so many cultural gifts. And I do always recognise literature and music as being fundamental to the core of one of the many gifts that we are able to be the recipients of in the southeast. I was discussing before with Maya the curiosity I've always had about different faiths and different religions, and of course learning about the 5 pillars of Islam has been something that I've enjoyed exploring for the last 20 or so years. I worked in international development before being elected, and so I was always conscious of zakat and the charity and that comes with one of this really important time in the year as people practice faith with prayer and with fasting, but with charity at the core. Whether it was during the difficult years when we all had to support each other and make deep sacrifices, or as we emerged out of the COVID pandemic, my heart was always filled with the optimism of the altruism of our community. So altruism that comes from being able to look to each other to see what's needed and how we can support each other. And we saw that in spades from this community organisation. And as we were reminded of by Zabi, the way that food relief was provided, not just from people from within the diaspora, but of course to all neighbours. That was such a fundamental element to remind other members of the community that we are all connected to each other, that this great gift of neighbours, this great gift of community is so precious. Now, I represent the Cranbourne community. I live in Cranbourne South, and as I was driving here this evening, I was reflecting on how pleased I am to be with a community that puts aspiration and optimism right at the centre of every conversation I have. I can go, door knock on Friday afternoons. It was a bit wet this afternoon, I had to do some other things, but I can go for weeks before somebody talks to me about something other than education. Because our aspiration for the future and our children is core to so much about what makes families and what makes our optimism the centre of what we do. Now, I have a large brood of children. My youngest is now 21, and I was really busy for years and years and years. I could hardly lift my head because I was thinking about what's best for my family, what's best for my neighbours. And I see that all the time in the conversations I have. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of promotion. I have started Chai and Chat. Every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm welcoming people into our parks and into the community to meet neighbours. And so my next Chai and Chat will be on the 6th of May in the Brompton Estate. I have one flyer, I should have bought more, so come past and pick it up because I would love to see more of you. It's an opportunity for you to meet each other and to see what you already know, which is that we are at our best when we come together. I'm so honoured to be here, so delighted to be able to share such an auspicious occasion, to celebrate with what I think is going to be extraordinary music, to have already had that opportunity to hear that, but to be side by side with all of you. Thank you for putting your faith in Jason and I. In the local council, it's a credit to you that you have different party members, different levels of government, all here together. And thank you again for the hospitality and for the kindness and everything you do.
Cultural Affairs, Community Safety, Migrant Services and Federal Member for Detroit, representing Liberal Party of Australia. Mr. Wood has been a great friend of the Afghan. We greatly appreciate his tireless work for our communities. We are honoured to have Mr. Wood join us tonight in our Eid celebration. I now would like to invite Mr. Wood to share some of his words with us. Please put your hands together for Mr. Wood.
Thanks so much, Maya. And I'm glad I was nearly going to wear the same outfit as you tonight. We would have been clashing, so I love your traditional outfit. It's magnificent. First of all, can I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the elders past and present. I should say salam alaikum to everyone. And happy Eid Mubarak. And I know you've had your Ramadan for the last month of fasting. And my Muslim friends tell me the first couple of days is a bit tough because you can't have a coffee in the morning, but eventually you get through it. So it's been a fabulous Ramadan period from what I've been told. Can I just say, I think it was last year I went to a few iftar dinners and people were talking about Ramadan and fasting, and I got the idea myself, it could be a good way to lose weight. So I've ended up losing 20 kilo of weight since last year by doing the fasting. Mine's a bit different though. I must have the water during the day. So I absolutely admire the Afghan people, the Muslim community, for the way you are so dedicated to Islam and your faith. Can I also acknowledge President Zambi Mazuri, and I'm glad your mother got the driver's licence. I used to be in the police force, and we used to have a saying that it's safer to be on the road because the driving of some people is so bad. In actual fact, I've got Karthik Russo here today with me, who's the advisor for the opposition leader Peter Dutton. He's on loan to me. We went to India recently, and at one stage we were the only car going on the wrong side of the road. The wrong side of the road, because everyone else was going the wrong way. So it was quite a cultural experience. Maliku Kamri, Treasurer, Asi Bato MC, an MC we've heard, Maya, and members of United Cultural Support. Thanks for your kind invitation. Congratulations on the work you're doing, and I was very proud under the settlement program to have secured under the previous federal Liberal government $70,000 towards your your soccer program and volleyball and the driver's licence. Can I say to have a driver's licence is so important, and to have so many ladies in particular get that licence, something you should all be very proud of. I also acknowledge Pauline Richards, who's doing a great job also in the multicultural community, the Afghan community, and I don't know how many Afghan people you have in your electorate, but you've got a lot like myself. Also to see again Dr. Jiang Q, former state member. It's a shame you're not in politics, because we went to so many multicultural events. You're doing such a magnificent job. Sadie Ali, City of Casey, and founder of UCSI. Can we give her a huge hand, and the founding committee members? And Rebecca from Southern Migration and Refugee Centre, thank you for the great work you're doing there. Zahir from Foundation House, again great work. Mohammed Rafi and Aziz Kuramari, and Aziz is a very good friend of mine, so good to see you again, Aziz, and all our distinguished guests. And also just for my office, I have Suman, here's stand up Suman. She's also from the Afghan community doing a great job, and she actually won the Leadership Award for Young Leader in the Bakhtar community last year. So if you've got issues, come and see Suman. And one thing I suppose I'd just like to say is I congratulate our Afghan community in Australia. In actual fact, I did have some good news tonight. I just got an SMS just before, or WhatsApp, that one of the visas we've been helping for, it must have been at least 12 months now, they just got their visa approved, and all that. So all the family members just arrived, I think it was from Pakistan. And during the evacuation, it was such a stressful time for so many of you, and it still is, because I know how many relatives are back home. And that awful week where the Taliban took over, or just prior to that I should say, we got 4,700 Afghan people evacuated, and that was when the opposition leader Peter Dutton was the defence minister. That's something the country should be very proud of, to get 4,700 in that short period of time. And myself and Karthik, another advisor at my office, we end up putting through my office alone, I think it was like 270 visa applications which were approved in a short time. And now I believe the figure is over the next 4 years, I think it's going to be 31,000 humanitarian visas, and I'm 31,500. And my role is now, I'm in opposition, is to keep the new government, the Albanese government, into account to make sure they continue the work there. It's so important, and there's no reasons why they shouldn't. Also, in the settlement program, we committed $27 million, and it's been fantastic to see the Afghan community also helping out the Ukrainian community, which is quite unbelievable. So again, that's something to be very proud of. Some of the local grants we've assisted with is the Afghan Women Organisation Victoria, is $300,000. Australian Muslim Women's Centre for Human Rights, $375,000. Victorian Afghan Associations Network, $295,000. Something I'm also very proud of is the Hope Australia Soccer Academy, which I know Pauline's been to with me. That's a program which is to help high-risk youth and youth in need. And in actual fact, we ended up paying or received, I think it was $1.5 million of previous federal Liberal government funding to bring out some Brazilian soccer coaches. And the biggest uptake in that, to me, was quite bizarre, is Afghan women. So the Afghan women are very much involved in soccer, including the local minaret schools, I know in my neck of the woods in offices. So tonight, it's my honour to be here with you. As a Member of Parliament, like myself and like Pauline, we're here to work for you and to assist you, and that's our job. So just finally, when it comes to your native tongue at home, with the parents, make sure you speak whatever language is your primary language at home, and not try to speak to your children in English, because they will learn English. So make sure you don't lose your culture and heritage. I'll just finish up with one last story. It's so important to get the language right, and I congratulate Zabi's wife, we met before, to pick up the language. I tried to impress my relatives, or my wife's relatives in Hong Kong, when I first met, I tried to say she's a beautiful young woman. Instead I said she's a beautiful old man. So getting the language right is really important. So anyway, thanks very much for having us here tonight. I will have to leave at 8 o'clock because I have another event, so if you see me, we'll get that's the reason why. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. It's a pleasure to have you tonight here. And on to our next presentation. It's Women's Volleyball Team Awards presentation. I'd like to invite Mr. Zabi Masuri in here so that he could present the awards to the talented women volleyballs team that we run.
Thanks مایا. از همه تمام خانمایی که در تیم والیبال دخترها هستن تقاضا میکنم اینجا بیاین تقدیرنامه خودم تسلیم شوند. اعضای تیم والیبال لطفاً بیاین همه‌شان نیستن یک تعدادشون اینجا هستن. یک چکچک به افتخار شدن. These are the women's volleyball team that we support. And I know there's more than 30 of them, but they're not all here tonight. We have a few of them here. So I do. And our Kubra, who is also a committee member of UCSI, but she also is member of the volleyball team. She and her daughter also plays in the volleyball team. And we have many of families, actually, mother and daughter, or father and daughter, like myself and my daughter, and many other families who are here tonight. Their daughters or their sons are in the volleyball team. I would like to ask I know you're on the stage, but Dr. Q, if you could present the certificate to the volleyball team. Thank you. So Hello is the captain, and she can receive on behalf of the team. So Hello and Kubra, both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
If any of the other families who are here tonight, thank you, Dr. Q. If you'd like to join our volleyball team, either the men or women, feel free to contact us. We have training in Lindbergh Primary School 4 times a week, 2 nights for men, 2 nights for women. So feel free to contact us and join the team. And تشکر بسیار زیاد از همه دخترایی که در تیم والیبال هستن. واقعا اینا همیشه حاضر هستن و در پلوی تمام مصروفیت‌های دیگه‌ای که دارن در خانه هفته 2 بار در ترینینگ ها میاین و والیبال نه تنها یک ورزش است مگر اینا بین یک تیم جور کردن و بین خود دوست شدن و برای صحت و سلامت جسمی و روانی بسیار مفید است. کسایی که در نوع والیبال هم تشویق میکنن شما میتونید این تیم جوین کنید. تشکر از همه شما. Thank you. Big clap for all of you.
Thank you, Zabi, and thank you to the women's volleyball team. And now we have a very special guest here tonight with us as well. شگوفه جان باختری که شاعر، نویسنده و همچنان رئیس انجمن جمع فرهنگی شگوفه هستند. ایشان بسیار خدمت‌های زیادی به جامعه افغان و خانم‌ها کردن و انجام میدن. همچنان ما امشب درخواست میکنم از خانم جان شگوفه جان باختری که بفرمایید بیاین استیج و از اشعار خود اینجا رونمایی کنن و شب خوبی را برای ما بسازن. تشکر و please welcome شگوفه باختری.
به نام خداوند جان خرد خدمت عزیزان حاضر در جلسه سلام عرض می کنم با آرزوی قبولی عبادات شما دوستان گرامی. سعادت و سلامت را برای همه خواستارم. بسیار افتخار می کنم که در جمع بزرگواران چون شما هستم و مسرورم از این که می توان لحظاتی را در کنار شما سپری کرد، فارغ از اندویی که از دوری وطن در نگاه حسرت آلود زندگی ایجاد کرده. آرزو می کنم که بهار یک بار دیگر در چشمهای پژمرده سرزمین شوق رویدن و بر لبهای هموطنانم گل لبخند بنشاند. Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to be a part of this event. The poem that I will be reciting are in Dari, so I do apologize to our non-Dari speakers. هرچی کردم نتوانستم زبانم را به شف و شادی در سرودن شعر قانی و روزی کنم و از هر سمت و سوی که واژه ها را کنار هم چیدم در خاتمه و پریشانی حال مردم هموطنم ختم شد. میخواهم غزلی را هدیه کنم به وجود نازنین شما دوستان و مردم افغانستان. امید است که مقبول طبع نیکوپسندتان قرار گیرد. کنار این همه اندوه عید زیبا نیست. و روی زخم لباس سپید زیبا نیست. کنار سفره از عشق خالی شبها اگر که آمده ماه امید زیبا نیست. کشید دست تبر خاطرات خونین را، نشان داغ و بالای بید زیبا نیست. و ساز گریه برقصد به گونه ها اشکم اگر که خنده به لبها دوید زیبا نیست. از آن عنایی که به دستان بلخ بسته شده است ببین اگر که از آن خون چکید زیبا نیست. نشسته شعله آتش به هر در کابل، به قفل سوخته آن کلید زیبا نیست. ببین که در دل خورشید نور پنهان شد. ببین که در دل خورشید نور پنهان شد. برو که در وطن ما نوید زیبا نیست. برو که در وطن ما نوید زیبا نیست. Thank you.
فکر میکنم if you're in Afghanistani or you are in an event that's organized by an Afghanistani community, food is very important and food is very special to us, and I'm sure everyone is very hungry by now. So we have got our food ready. Please stand up and go to get food and enjoy the food. I'd like to request maybe the first tables to start first, and then we can the rest of us can join.